Good morning, everyone. I hope this finds you well and living your very best life in Jesus Christ. I was reading the other day in the book of Daniel, and I suddenly had a realization that what Daniel was experiencing way back then is quite a bit like what's happening to Christian believers every day in America. The truth is, they're trying to assimilate us. And by they, I mean this current culture of evil prevalent in America these days. I can't call it anything else. I mean, as much as I try to keep these positive, we need to realize that America has a lot in common with ancient Babylon. From our perspective, Babylon, from this history, might look like a massive, united national machine, but history reminds us that nothing was stable for the people in that region. Tribes continually competed for dominance, change could take place swiftly. I mean, we see that after the death of Nebuchadnezzar, as control shifted to Belshazzar and then Darius and then Cyrus, that a new tribe became dominant. And if you look at the similarities with America in 2021, it's rather startling how similar we are. We're a nation divided by different factions. We could even call them tribes in a constant battle for dominance. The recent election has reminded us how quickly things can change. With the shift in control from one party to another, things are always unsettling, and neither can ever really be totally sure of its power. Back then, men like Nebuchadnezzar, constantly aware of this reality, never took their control for granted. We see this concern in their attitude toward Daniel and other Jews. And this is echoed in our modern leaders in their willingness to, frankly, outright destroy anyone who opposes them. The Babylonian rulers wanted these men to be assimilated into their culture and be loyal. And as we read in Daniel, as a result, many young Jews were trained with the goal of getting them to act and think not like Jews, but as Babylonians or Chaldeans. We see this concern in the reaction to the image of gold set up by Nebuchadnezzar as everyone was told to, quote, fall down in worship. By the way, that's Daniel 3:5. When Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, would not bow down, Nebuchadnezzar reacted with rage. Does that sound familiar from our politicians? Yet ultimately, these men were allowed to retain their faith. But to do so, they had to be willing to stand up to the powers that be and the prevailing culture of godlessness, no matter what it cost. The challenge for us is to realize that we, too, can feel forced to assimilate and be pressured to think like everyone else. We can feel compelled to lay aside our beliefs and faith in God. We're told that when we refuse to do this, we're closed-minded or intolerant or bigoted or racist and so forth, when the truth is there's nothing of the sort. And the sad part is that this is especially prevalent in our schools and colleges, where there is never ending pressure and sometimes outright attacks on believers over things that the Bible clearly instructs are sins, such as abortion, the LGBTQ agenda, the sanctity of marriage, premarital sex, and there are many others. Like Daniel and his young friends, we need to have the boldness to stand for what we believe and to retain our relationship with God. Today and every day, we should be ever on our guard against the powers that would try to lead us away from God. Let us cling to our beliefs by reading and studying His Word, spending time in communion with Him, and basically living according to His precepts. When it comes to following the culture, let's resist. Let's look to Jesus for guidance other than earthly powers, and bravely count ourselves among those through history who have been willing to sacrifice all for Christ. I know it's difficult. I know we as human beings often want to follow the flow. We want to go along with everybody else. But in this case, the path that they're outlining is the path to destruction. I hope you make today a fantastic day. I want you to know that I'm here if you need me, and I love you all.